Tonight, the starting lineups, first of all, for the Lakers. Up front, Lamar Odom, Chris M.E.M, and Kwame Brown. And in the backcourt, it's Smush Parker and Kobe Bryant. The homestanding Denver Nuggets have a front line that was in total foul trouble in the second half last night. Carmelo Anthony, Marcus Camby, and Kenyon Martin. Andre Miller and Vashawn Leonard back from his injury, starting at the other guard spot. Sean Brooks, the head coach for the second game in a row, as George Karl finishes off his 2-game suspension. Karl was suspended the 2 games because he violated NBA rules prior to the draft last June when he observed a non-draft eligible player. It originally was a 3-game suspension. The Nuggets appealed, got it reduced to 2.
A lot of cash was involved, transaction there to JD. A big problem for Scott Brooks will be whether he will be able to maintain the discipline, organization, and structure that George Karl has brought to this franchise here since taking over at the start of last season.
Taking a look at the Denver Nuggets as they control the opening tip tonight. Denver finished with that strong kick. Remember, last year after Karl took over, they won 32 of their last 40 to qualify for the playoffs. And it's Vashawn Leonard hitting on the first attempt of the night.
Talking to Vashawn Leonard, he, like a lot of the Nuggets, really worked hard all season long in the summer to get ready for this, coming back from that just disastrous Achilles tendon injury. He's lost a lot of weight, Vashawn Leonard.
It's Lamar Odom running the point pretty much for the Lakers as a point forward. LA down to 6 on the shot clock, and a 3-point hit by Smush Parker, putting the Lakers up.
Perimeter game after big men handling the ball up high. Keys to tonight, who's going to be able to slow down Kobe Bryant. For the Denver Nuggets, they don't have a lot of size at that off-guard position. And then for the Lakers, they're coming in with a young and not physically talented front line. Can they match up with the Cambys, Kenyon Martin, who's playing with a sore knee, and Carmelo Anthony now with the ball?
And he's guarded by Lamar Odom. Anthony gives it up to Martin. And Kenyon Martin puts Denver back up by 1.
Tremendous ball movement by both teams early.
Kenyon Martin had 19 last night. Anthony scored 23 in last night's loss at San Antonio. Kobe Bryant had the ball knocked away by Martin. It's a walk on Bryant. Apparently, Martin didn't touch it.
If he had, that would have been a jump ball here.
Oh, I thought he touched it.
I don't see how that's a traveling violation against Kobe Bryant.
And now a foul on Kobe, reaching in on Vashawn Leonard.
Fans still very hostile towards Kobe Bryant here in Denver. Every time he touches the ball, the boos rain down. When the fouls or violations called against Kobe, an eruption of applause.
Just underway here at the Pepsi Center. Game 2, NBA Wednesday on ESPN. Carmelo Anthony driving through traffic, and on the way in, a foul call. And while we have a moment, let's check in with our third member of our broadcast team. Here's Jim Gray.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. We spoke to Phil Jackson before the game. Had a chance to talk to him about his team. It was really interesting. He said, I don't know if we're good. I don't know if we're not good. I don't know if we're average. Maybe we're somewhere in between all of this. He says we need to get through this very first game so we can have some sort of measure for the first month. It might not come together for us Thanksgiving. It might be a couple of months. I just don't know, and it's one of the few times I've entered a coaching season really not knowing. Jim?
Yeah, you know, the Lakers, they have a lot of new faces. They also have a lot of young faces on this team that are going to be in the rotation.
An average age for the Lakers of 25 years. And this is a new situation. Andrew Bynum just turned 18 a week ago, the lottery pick for the Lakers, the youngest player ever drafted in NBA history.
Phil said before the game that he'd probably get him an 8-minute stint here in the first quarter. Kobe Bryant connecting, or in the first half, I should say. Last year, the Nuggets and Lakers divided the 4 games between the two. Kobe Bryant has lit up Denver on occasion on the alley-oop.
Phil Jackson is arguing that play should not count.
I agree.
That ball was in the cylinder.
And that is the call.
The pass over the top.
The pass almost went in.
Yes. And they changed this rule early on in Wilt Chamberlain's career, because what Wilt would do was just go up and grab anybody's shot and then just dunk it through. And so when the ball is in the cylinder, you have to let it go and hit the rim itself.
Smush Parker lines up another three, and he's 2 for 2.
Well, the Fordham Flash, if he can continue to play like that, that will take a lot of pressure off the front court and Kobe Bryant.
This is Marcus Camby over M.E.M. And now the Lakers bring it back the other way. Kobe Bryant around Leonard. A pitch out for Odom underneath to Kwame Brown, juggled away.
Kwame Brown with a fresh start now in his 5th season here. Very young. Grew up in Georgia, went to high school there.
This is Vashawn Leonard for 3.
Scott Brooks told us that they want the pace up and down. They feel they have the deeper team, the more powerful, experienced front line there. They got to do something to keep Kobe Bryant away from the ball as much as possible. Offensive foul, M.E.M. in the low post.
That's the call. Chris M.E.M. picking up his first.
And that's a major problem for Chris M.E.M. and Kwame Brown. I think Phil Jackson is really going to have to breathe confidence into these guys. But this is about playing big minutes.
Phil's first substitution is a veteran. Devin George comes in to replace M.E.M. I mean, a Lakers veteran, a triangle veteran. One of the few guys remaining on this roster from their championship days.
Well, he's been there through the entire Kobe Bryant era. And this is a guy who struggled last year with injuries, the operation on his foot. Very beautiful back cut.
That's Vashawn Leonard off the reverse, and it was delivered by Andre Miller.
Last year, Andre Miller, 2nd in the Western Conference in assists per game behind the NBA's overall leader, Steve Nash, the MVP.
Kobe Bryant off the turnaround. Kobe Bryant with 4.
It's amazing because they boo, and then the Laker fans who are here in abundance tonight,
they cheer when it goes in.
And they're decked out in their Laker gold.
Vashawn Leonard has it stuck on automatic. 8 points for Leonard.
Leonard is doing exactly what World B. Free used to do, who always gave up size. World B. Free would say, hey, I'm going to get it back on the offensive end. And Vashawn Leonard has come out attacking tonight.
Lamar Odom missing the 3. Miller tracks down the loose ball rebound.
Big guys for the Lakers have to come alive here. Look at Carmelo Anthony on the offensive glass. He had 6 last night in San Antonio, J.D.
Now Kobe Bryant sidesteps a defender, gets open again, and Kobe Bryant has 6 early as the Lakers go back up by 2.
Kobe Bryant appears to be wearing tights. We'll have to get a report from Jim Gray on that.
Andre Miller. Slammed by Camby.
Phil Jackson has to make a defensive adjustment here. Smush Parker is not putting enough pressure on Andre Miller, who's standing up over the top and just looking at guys who are back cutting time and time again.
And now a back cut on a lob into Bryant. Kobe with the layup.
All 14 Laker points are from their backcourt. Transition opportunity for the Nuggets. Carmelo Anthony looks fantastic.
Carmelo Anthony had 23 last night at San Antonio. He gets his first 2 here. And a game that's opening quite well offensively for both teams. Good shooting both ways.
No low post or basket presence whatsoever for the Laker front court.
That's Kwame Brown, and a foul called will get him on the free throw line.
Number 6, that's his first team.
Laker defense, no pressure really on Andre Miller, who's just calmly looking the situation over the back cut. You've got to have something to block the vision of an Andre Miller, who at one time when he was playing for Cleveland led the NBA in assists per game to over 10.
Last night, the Nuggets point guards had 11 assists combined and only 1 turnover.
And that doesn't even count the DNP by Earl Watson, who was a big offseason acquisition with a major contract, $29 million for a 3rd point guard. They've already got Earl Boykins.
Right, I'm talking about Boykins and Miller. And now as Miller attacks the rim, a foul call, he'll get to the free throw line.
And there's Earl Boykins, always a candidate for 6th man of the year. Earl Watson, the UCLA legend, coming over.
They're all legends, right? When they come out of UCLA?
Without question. You look at the record books, and Earl Watson is there across the board. 4-year starter. Team with Baron Davis, now tearing it up for Golden State. Left Memphis as a free agent, came over here in a big offseason acquisition for Kiki Vandeweghe, the general manager.
And the 2 free throws by Miller put the Nuggets on top by 1. Smush Parker handles at the point this trip, and off the ball, a whistle.
We talked to the Denver Nuggets and Scott Brooks and players and Kiki Vandeweghe about how they were going to combat Kobe Bryant's size. And Kobe Bryant, you know, is so big over Vashon Leonard. They just hope to get Vashon a couple minutes, get him going, and then come in with a Greg Buckner, a DeMar Johnson, who are bigger, more physical players to slow down Kobe. And then Vashon Leonard can slide into his slot as a specialist perimeter shooter.
That's the first foul on Vashon Leonard. Bryant. And the rebound controlled by Martin.
Traveling violation.
And a walk as Kobe Bryant came up and blindsided Miller and forced him to flinch off the dribble.
Tremendous court presence by Kobe Bryant. Seeing the outlet passes coming quickly, he jumps up there, doesn't create any contact whatsoever. Andre Miller has to shuffle his feet. Easy play to call.
Halfway through the quarter, it's Lamar Odom in the post this time. Odom against Martin, and a foul on Kenyon Martin.
But finally, somebody trying to go to the basket from the front court for Los Angeles.
That's 2 fouls on Kenyon Martin. He got in foul trouble last night. The Nuggets by 1 early.
First weeks of the season and training camps have not been kind to the Nuggets in recent history.
And with 2 fouls on Kenyon Martin, Eduardo Nahara is in the game. And there's a tip jam by Devin George on a follow.
Well, where did the Nuggets go to try to replace Nene? He was a lottery pick and a tremendous player. Nice pass, Marcus Camby.
Carmelo missing off the reverse, but it's Nahara with the offensive rebound. Leonard scoops for Eduardo. His shot sent away by Chris M.E.M.
Back in the game in after a short rest. Great defense by Carmelo.
Here come the Nuggets back, looking for the lead. Leonard for 3. Lamar Odom, the LA rebound.
The triangle looks a little dull at this point. Not sharp angles.
Shooting it pretty well, though. Devin George connecting there. 5 points for Devin George.
But the Lakers are playing Denver's game. Scattered, freelance. The way Los Angeles is going to become a team is by staying organized and disciplined. Listen to their coach on every single possession.
Andre Miller hounded by Devin George with 2 to shoot. And the ball last touched by the Lakers, so the Nuggets come in with a fresh 24. 4:43 for the opening quarter. LA on top by 4.
If you're the Denver Nuggets, you just try to pound it inside time and time again. Try to get Chris. Breakdown completely defensively by the Lakers.
And that's Eduardo Nahara taking advantage. Nahara scored 14 points at San Antonio last night, just 5 off his career best. So they really didn't miss Nene much because he did played most of the minutes after he went out. M.E.M. is fouled and will visit the free throw line as you get a look at Earl Boykins.
The baseline out of bounds play, the defense non-existent. That's like the dummy offense that you run in practice. It was part of my specialty, Jim.
That foul on Andre Miller. He's going out of the game with Earl Boykins in.
But the rule has to be when you're guarding a baseline out of bounds play, number 1, everybody sees the ball, pressure on the passer, and then make the guys go away from the basket to receive the ball. Unacceptable for the Lakers.
Chris M.E.M. with his first point tonight. And Brian Cook comes on for the Lakers. Lamar Odom goes out.
Brian Cook, who has moved significantly up in the rotation. Chris M.E.M. at the free throw line had his career high last year in opening night. Gigantic home court victory at Staples Center for the Lakers before going up in their second game and getting just spanked by the Utah Jazz.
He walked away from that game thinking Utah was going to have a great year.
Then the injuries to Andre Kirilenko and Carlos Boozer. Sadly, Carlos Boozer still hurt.
Boykins looking and finding Anthony. Nuggets down 3. Anthony around Devin George, but a foul called by George.
A real sign of the team play and system that George Karl has brought to this Nugget squad is that they've got 8 baskets tonight in the first quarter already, and they have an assist on each of those 8 field goals.
Sideline out of bounds. What a move by Anthony out of the post. And a foul.
Great post feeding from the high slot of Marcus Camby. The flash from the weak side and immediately on the reception. Carmelo Anthony looking like he's off to his first All-Star appearance. You know, that was such a great draft a few years ago with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Darko Milicic has yet to make his mark in the NBA at the second position in that draft, but Carmelo Anthony has just worked so hard to try to get to that level that LeBron James and Dwayne Wade have reached. Chris Bosh, unfortunately, not playing on a very good team right now, so he gets left out of the conversation, but he is an outstanding talent.
Kobe Bryant on the cut by from George. Nice move on the reverse. Kobe's got 10 already. A couple of years ago, he dropped a serious load on Denver one night and came back and did it again the next. And he's, you know, on his way to a 40-plus game tonight. Camby cleaning up.
Kobe Bryant was second in the NBA in scoring last year to Allen Iverson, who won his 4th scoring title.
Kobe guarded by Vashawn Leonard as we near the 3:20 mark for the quarter. And a timeout taken.
I think if you're the Denver Nuggets, you start thinking about double teaming Kobe a lot. See what the rest of these guys can do.
3:20 for the first in a tie game. Kobe Bryant off to a good start here in Denver. The Lakers and Nuggets are tied at 23. Kobe has scored 10 points so far, and he's done it in all shapes and sizes to this point. You know, we talked to Coach Phil Jackson before the game, and Phil said it's a different Kobe this year than the Kobe of years past.
I think last year was, you know, a year in which no one really knew what it was going to be like without Shaquille, and a lot of things didn't fall in place for that team. And you know, for whatever reason, I think that's helped mature him, and I think there's, you know, coming back together this year to work with him. I find a player who's very mature, very patient, which isn't normal. You know, Kobe hasn't always been patient, but he's much more patient now as a player.
Kobe on the bench right now. Aaron McKee has come in to replace him.
An off-season pickup.
And Lamar Odom fouled at the rim. 2 shots coming for Lamar Odom. The thing about Kobe, and Phil, of course, talking about his maturity and his patience, he's really going to have Kobe, I mean, is really going to have patience because of what we talked about. Not only are there a lot of new faces on the team, there are these young faces that are hoping to play too.
And he will set the tone by being the first one to practice, by encouraging guys and being the positive, constructive force that Michael Jordan, a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson always were. There's Andrew Bynum sitting right next to Kobe. And
Jim Gray?
Well, Jim, Phil Jackson gets asked about this constantly, and every city he goes into, he's being asked about it. Tonight, he said, well, we're getting along because we basically ignored all of you guys, all of the media. We're just not going to talk about our relationship. And up until now, so far, so good. And talking to Kobe about it, he just said it was time to move on. You know, the book was the book. Obviously, there was a lot of unhappy feelings. There was a disconnect between the two. But as things went on, and Phil said this in an interview a couple of months ago on SportsCenter, a Sunday night conversation, he said, you know what, toward the end of it, we recognized that we both needed each other and that things would be okay professionally. It's the personal side that they had to repair. And the personal side has now just become the business side. And business-wise, this is going very, very well. And Kobe says, hey, look, that was then, this is now. We're in business. Jim?
The Lakers defensively were in business a little too long in the lane that last trip. Defensive 3-second call, and Boykins made the free throw on the technical.
Life is like your jumper. Once that ball leaves your hand, there is nothing you can do about it anymore.
I'll tell you what, I don't have much of a life because I definitely have no jumper anymore.
You have the life, Jim, we all want. You get to do 4 games this week.
Carmelo Anthony on the miss, and here come the Lakers. LA up by 1. Opening night at the Pepsi Center. Aaron McKee swings to Cook.
The Lakers shooting so well from the outside, the crowd hasn't had much of a chance to get going here at the Pepsi Center.
Fans wanted to walk on Cook. M.E.M on the miss.
Everything from the perimeter for Los Angeles. That just won't get it done.
Eduardo Nahara finding Boykins, who is guarded by Smush Parker.
Camby's really moving that ball well up at the high post.
4 to shoot, and it's Boykins for 3. The Nuggets are still without a 3-point field goal in this young season.
Why doesn't Carmelo Anthony handle the ball more in the set offense?
M.E.M draws the foul going to the hoop.
You know, without Nene, Denver is shorthanded. So you got to just think about, okay, let's get these guys in foul trouble. Kenyon Martin's playing with a sore knee that he banged last night. Most players wouldn't even be playing tonight, but this guy Kenyon Martin's so tough. Edward Nahara is a very good role player.
And he picked up that foul. Say fans catch video highlights of every game with NBA TV broadband only on NBA.com. Log on to NBA.com for more details. Francisco Elson enters the lineup for Denver. Marcus Camby going out.
Chris M.E.M, like all the Laker front court players, will learn so much with the addition of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to the coaching staff for Los Angeles this year. Kareem not on the traveling coaching squad, but they're when they're in Los Angeles, and certainly they're over in Hawaii.
And Phil Jackson was talking about that before the game, about Kareem's input, and when he finishes working with one assignment, he goes to Phil and says, okay, now what? What next? What do you want me to do now?
Just did an incredible job, Kareem did, and people forget and overlook Kareem's overall game because he's the game's most devastating scorer in the history of the NBA. As a 6-time MVP, the best in league history.
Boykins on the way in, and a foul called. It's on Parker. Smush has his second. And so Earl Boykins visits the free throw line. Earl Boykins, 5'5".
Earl now with his 17. 7 different stops. Cleveland twice, which is his hometown after going to Eastern Michigan. Shortest active player in the NBA. I'm going to question that 5'5".
Yeah. Sasha Vujicic has come on for the Lakers, replacing Smush Parker, who goes out with the 2 fouls.
But Earl Boykins, like Steve Nash, my favorite type of player in the NBA. The guys that come out here and just look at these winners of the genetic lottery and said, oh yeah, is that all you got? Not how big you are, it's how big you play. Not a good pass by Lamar Odom, who has not been sharp tonight.
And Elson couldn't quite claim it for Denver, and then the ball unable to be saved by Boykins. So the Lakers will keep it, and apparently it did change possession, as they have 20. They put 24 up on the shot clock.
A lot of responsibility placed on Lamar Odom's shoulders. They're saying that he's going to be the next Scottie Pippen, a completely different player than Scottie.
Scottie Pippen also spent time in the Lakers camp this year, working with Lamar Odom on that point forward role. M.E.M surrounded and turns it over. Offensive foul on M.E.M. 2 fouls on him.
But what a roster of coaches they had for the Lakers over there in Hawaii. Kareem, Magic, James Worthy, and Scottie Pippen. Tex Winter, Phil Jackson. Turning in the low post, trying to get to the hoop. Buckner just stands his ground, takes the elbow to the face. You know, it's not a good idea. I learned this from personal experience, Jim. After having my nose broken 13 times and my front teeth knocked out 10 times.
Golly, I hadn't noticed.
But don't play defense with your face. It's not a good idea, but as Coach Wooden is quick to point out, Walt, you're the slowest learner ever.
M.E.M has to go to the bench with 2 fouls. Brian Cook back in for the Lakers. 8 to shoot for the Nuggets.
get on the floor for the Lakers. Poke those
There you
balls
go.
away.
Cook went right down on the court. Nice shot by Nahara. He got popped in the face.
Yeah, but what about the guards going? That ball was out there for at least 3 seconds.
Less than a minute for the first.
Who wants to play ball today? A turnover for Sasha.
Right at midcourt on the over and back. Denver ball with 50.6 left. Kevin, that's 7 turnovers for the Lakers already.
And they're winning on the road. It has to be a psychological blow, devastating as it is, that Renee is not with the team and won't be able to play for a very long time.
Carmelo Anthony against Odom. And as it came off on the other side, it's a walk because it didn't hit the rim apparently as Odom, as Anthony came down with the ball. So,
but was the ball blocked?
That's what I thought.
Normally you would think that Carmelo Anthony would not miss a wide open layup like this. He jumps in the air. Tough to see from that angle, but you would have to imagine that Lamar Odom or Kwame Brown had their hands on that ball at some point.
Aaron McKee with 14 to shoot. 25 seconds left in the quarter. Now it's Odom guarded by Nahara. This shot by Kwame Brown, and Denver can play it for one to close out the quarter.
Clear the floor, let Carmelo Anthony work.
And it's Buckner for 3 with 3.7. Greg Buckner scoring.
Nice job, Nahara, taking time off the clock by pressuring Odom.
That 3-point hit by Buckner, the first of the game and the young season for the Nuggets, and it gives them the lead after 1. His first points tonight, and his first points in the first 2 games. Minnesota at the Clippers. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. Kobe Bryant with 10 first quarter points back in the game. You saw Marcus Camby on the bench for the Denver Nuggets. DeMar Johnson has come in. The Lakers no field goals over the last 350. They were outscored 11-6 to close out the quarter by Denver, and an offensive foul called on Kwame Brown.
And that is the 9th foul in the game on the Lakers as a team. That will not get it done. Kwame Brown's first foul of the game tonight, but a grave concern to Phil Jackson. Chris M.E.M has 2, Smush Parker has 2 fouls, and Devin George 2 fouls as well. So if you're Denver, keep taking that ball to the hoop.
And also remember this, in the Lakers turnover total, 3 of them are offensive fouls.
They're in this game, the Lakers are, because they're shooting the ball so well, 50%, and they're 3 for 6 from the 3-point line.
Eddie Nahara with a pitch out, 3 to shoot. Boykins launching for 3. Earl Boykins has his first 3 of the game.
I like it when the little guys make the jumper and then just start walking up toward the baseline to just get in the guy's face defensively.
So the Nuggets have their biggest lead here with about a minute having been played in the second quarter as Brian Cook hits the scorebook for the first time tonight for the Lakers.
Nahara's decision making is so solid. He never forces shots, just the ultimate team player. DeMar Johnson's got to be able to knock down that 3-point shot.
It's Buckner defending against Bryant, and on a repost, a travel call. The Lakers turn it over again.
I believe they're calling that traveling on Brian Cook out in front.
I agree.
Wide open here for Earl Boykins. No rotation and nobody running at him. Nice screen there by Francisco Elson to keep a Laker who wasn't really making much of an effort at all, and Phil Jackson will not be happy with that.
Now it's Boykins in deep.
I got a little one. I got a little one.
Vujicic with the rebound for the Lakers, who can cut it to 1 with a hoop. But their offensive woes continue. These turnovers are really hurting LA in this first half.
And Los Angeles has not been able to capitalize on what Lamar Odom can do. Beautiful shot by Brian Cook. That is his game. Spot up shooter, a solid preseason for Brian Cook at the University of Illinois. Now
and a good 3-point shooter. Good range.
Boykins
again. Boykins has 7. And the Nuggets back up by 3.
Phil Jackson cannot be happy with it. What's happened is Greg Buckner is just getting physical with Kobe Bryant, much the way that Bruce Bowen likes to do for the San Antonio Spurs.
Cook again. Brian Cook is cooking.
He's had injuries during his time with the Lakers. Now he's healthy, and he's getting regular minutes.
Offensive foul on Denver this time. So Scott Brooks running the show again tonight for George Karl. Francisco Elson called for that foul. First foul on him. Here's Kenyon Martin returning for the Nuggets. Elson is out. 9:36 left in the half. Kobe Bryant, 10 points in the quarter. You see on great shooting, 5 of 7.
But Denver's starting to double team Kobe Bryant almost every time he touches the ball. Triple team, why not?
And plus that physical play of Buckner, like you pointed out. That's Kwame Brown with a strong move to the rim. The first points for the first basket, I should say, for Kwame Brown, and the Lakers go back up by 1. Kenyon Martin buries the perimeter shot.
Kenyon Martin, who banged that knee, the left one, the same one that was operated on a few years back. But this guy is such a dynamic force. Needs to get more than 2 rebounds, as he was limited last night in San Antonio.
So Brian Cook cools off momentarily. Boykins with a quick look, and it's followed in by Nahara, and a foul.
Nahara, one of the guys that makes a team go. And that's what George Karl and Kiki Vandeweghe have done in putting this roster together. Working on the offensive glass, realizing he's got great position, and foul trouble piling up for Los Angeles.
As Kwame Brown picks up his second foul there.
And, you know, we've got good guys on our team. We've got some guys who need to step up. Francisco Ellison, some guys are going to have to play a little bit more. Carmelo may have to move the floor a little bit. But, you know, I think we have a very deep team.
Kiki, let me ask you about Carmelo. He said before the game he lost 25 pounds. What was behind that?
I think it was just a mentally decided that he needed to do that type of thing. He needed to be a star in this league. That's what he wants to be. He wants to lead his team. He's become a great teammate. I think he's really dedicated himself to becoming a great player.
Do you find that he has matured quite a bit in this offseason?
There's no question about it. I think he went, you know, he grew up basically in front of a lot of people, and you know, he had some troubles, but he's really learned from them, become a much better person. He gives a lot in our community, just a great individual, a true pleasure to have on the team.
Can you string together any reason why you've lost Vashawn Leonard on opening night, why you've lost now Nene, why Eric Williams went down, LaFonso Ellis, Antonio McDyess? Why has there been a history with this group, or is it just all strictly coincidental?
Well, I don't know. First games too, in a lot of those cases. You know, I think that a lot of teams go through it where you just lose guys, and periodically it happens. It's unfortunate. It's part of our business, and you know, you just try to get the guys well. You really care for the guys because nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody asks for it, and getting hurt is very difficult.
Kiki, hope the luck changes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jim.
Jim, back to you.
All right, Jim, they're going up and down right now, Bill Walton.
Well, Kiki Vandeweghe put this roster together. Now in his 5th year, Kiki Vandeweghe also a free agent. Tremendous block shots from the weak side.
That's
Andrew Bynum.
So Bynum, the youngest player ever in an NBA game.
Wearing number 17, his age when he was drafted.
Right. Up until October 27th, he was 17.
But when you talk about replacing Nene, I mean, who was out there? If the guy was really, really good, he'd already be in the NBA. But the names I keep hearing are names like Obino Kesey, Tony Massenberg, are solid players there, but certainly not of the class of Nene.
That's DeMar Johnson connecting. The Nuggets with a 4-point lead. They've led by as many as 5.
I love the way that Greg Buckner is playing defensively, away from the ball, making Kobe Bryant work for every inch of territory here. Come on the double team quickly here.
And it's Nahara with the rebound. Boykins on the push. Buckner missing. Bynum clears for the Lakers. Here comes Bryant again. This time in on Nahara. Kobe's got 14.
Almost in a better situation to take a foul if you're Nahara in that situation.
Lakers are off to the races again, but a foul called on Nahara to stop the thrust up the floor. That's 2 fouls on Eduardo.
The great defense by Greg Buckner away from the ball, forcing Kobe to come away from the basket, using the tough footwork, but then Kobe gets him in the open court against Edward Nahara, and there's just no chance that Eduardo has to slow down Kobe Bryant.
Kobe shooting it very well. And the Lakers in this quarter are shooting 70% as a team. Carmelo Anthony back in for the Nuggets. Johnson is out.
Talking to Carmelo before the game, he was telling us how personally devastating it was with Mendonça because they had worked out together here in Denver all summer long. Kobe Bryant had taken it upon himself to get this thing happening.
Bryant has it turned away by Kenyon Martin. Boykin sends it inside to Anthony. It's an open shot for Leonard.
Deshaun, who says he's 100% healthy, I find that hard to believe him missing that shot.
Marcus Camby ready to come back for the Nuggets. Smush Parker handles for the Lakers with 8 to shoot. Now Bynum. And Martin the rebound.
A real experience for Andrew Bynum.
Thinking the same thing.
Matched up against Kenyon Martin.
At both ends.
Wild play right now for the Denver Nuggets. I like the fact that Earl Boykins is pushing that ball. Smush Parker playing an outstanding game.
Kobe Bryant with a good find because Boykins was guarding Parker. And now the Lakers looking for the lead here. They got numbers. Smush Parker.
And Scott Brooks, he needs a timeout badly. It's falling apart. The Nuggets are finding themselves very fortunate to be within 2 the way they're playing in this second quarter.
The Lakers have scored the last 6 to take this 2-point lead. Here is the young man Bynum getting that first one rejected by Martin.
In his second year, they'll call that goaltending.
You have that bandana on your head sometimes, or when you come into Chicago Stadium, you'd have that big jacket with that hood.
Jim,
I think you're lucky they didn't have a dress code then.
I fought and lost that battle 35 years ago.
Rashawn Leonard.
I realized that there was nothing more important than being on the team and being in this league. And it's such a great privilege to be a part of the NBA. These guys are realizing and being welcomed to the real world.
Here's Bynum finding Bryant. And it's cleared out by Anthony.
Denver needs somebody to exert some on-court leadership right now. They brought back Andre Miller. Earl Boykins was just looking to shoot the ball every time he touched it.
They got LaRon Prophet out there. The Lakers have number 9, Kobe Bryant on the miss. And a long throw ahead to Camby.
Carmelo's limping a little bit here.
Yes, he is.
And his shoes untied.
Andre Miller with 10 to shoot.
That back cut is working fabulously for Denver.
And it was touched by Anthony. No basket for Rashawn Leonard.
It's interesting with Phil Jackson tonight, because when this ball rims off, it's still hanging right on there, and the temptation to dunk it right back in there. But Phil, he's got a much lighter attitude this year. He's lowered the expectations. He's always really done that, lowering the expectations. But a very calm and almost parsimonious demeanor to Phil Jackson at this point.
He talked about it before the game. He said, well, he didn't say exactly that, but he said he's going to be much more calm about things. Oh, man, nothing calm about that move by Martin.
That's the best play that we've seen tonight from any front court player. And that's a great sign for Kiki Vandeweghe, George Karl, Scott Brooks, that Kenyon Martin's going to be all right.
Nuggets coming back, looking to regain the lead, and it's Martin giving it to them.
Kmart out of bankruptcy.
And a foul, so Martin will have a chance in a 3-point play.
The transition defense for the Lakers just deplorable, leading to this timeout for Phil Jackson. Turn and face Lamar Odom. Just no rotation by the weak side defenders at all.
Kenyon Martin with 10 points, 8 in this quarter, and he'll be on the line when we come back.
Carmelo Anthony, who came walking out on the court out of that timeout, stretching his legs, hanging on the basket there to just try to get loose. They were working on his leg during that timeout. We can only hope that he is okay.
Martin missing the free throw. Kobe Bryant on the advance. And leaves it for Kwame Brown. It's an offensive foul on Kobe, and he's got 2 fouls. The Lakers now have 6 players with 2 personal fouls, and there's what Bill Walton was talking about with Carmelo Anthony.
Twisting the ankle around, the extension, trying to open up all the joints there. I know full well that feels really good.
Andre Miller leaves it for Camby, who lobs to Martin. It somehow got through.
Now that's
what a hustle play by Camby as he went down, and a jump ball is called.
And while we're on the subject of Marcus Camby, what about that outside the lines show that Bob Lee did on Marcus Camby in the Basketball Without Borders over in South Africa, when they met Nelson Mandela, went to Soweto and saw the incredible poverty over there. And all the guys, Dikembe Mutombo, Bob Lanier was there, Jerome Williams recently retired from the Knicks there, but Marcus Camby, and that feature that Outside the Lines put together, and Ronnie Forsheimer, that was outstanding. World-class television.
And all of those NBA players were all unanimously saying how they got more out of it than the people they were visiting.
That kind of stuff just changes your life. You don't realize how privileged and how fortunate you are being in the NBA, being in this country. When you go over there and you see, the unbelievable health issues, the poverty, the economic problems, and everything they're trying to do on that fantastic continent of Africa.
Right now, the Lakers are in possession with 2:55 left in the half. This game really, Bill, not getting into any kind of rhythm.
A lot of fouls.
A lot of turnovers.
Missed shots, poor shot selection, not enough ball movement. The opening of the game was fantastic.
Profit hitting. LaRon Profit has 4 as the Lakers pull even at 48.
LaRon Profit, part of that trade that brought Kwame Brown to. Oh, nice job there.
And then a foul called on Camby. Marcus Camby has his 2nd personal.
LaRon Profit played University of Maryland for Gary Williams. The sneak attack comes from the blind side there, and just tripping over the stationary leg of Marcus Camby. Not sure you have an obligation to get out of the way of somebody who's coming from the weak side and trying to steal the ball from him.
Profit going to work in the post against Leonard. Bryant recovers a loose ball. 10 on the shot clock. Profit missing through 3. Kenyon Martin collects.
Kenyon Martin, who only averaged 7 rebounds a game last year, doing a much better job on the boards tonight.
Quick shots. Profit giving the Lakers a solid lift here in this 2nd quarter. And once again, LA with a chance to get the lead. Almost a double dribble on Odom. Andre Miller the rebound.
Lamar has struggled mightily tonight.
Andre Miller's pass stolen by Profit, ahead to Bryant. He takes it in on Camby. Kobe Bryant, offensive foul, number 3 on Bryant.
The defensive play of the season in the NBA. Marcus Camby. Kobe Bryant coming right at him. Marcus holds his ground. Looks like he's going to grab him and take a foul. Then realizes that Kobe is overcommitted. And then he just falls backwards.
So Bryant leaves the game with 1:26 left in the half after picking up his 3rd foul. Smush Parker is in.
LA has 5 offensive fouls tonight, and at least 2 of Kobe's 3 fouls have been offensive.
2 is exactly the number.
Lamar Odom 1 for 6 shooting tonight.
Carmelo Anthony surrounded by Lakers, finds the open man, and it's Deshaun Leonard.
He is not going to miss 2 of those.
12 points for Leonard as the Nuggets go back up.
Well, it's been 18 years, JD, since the Denver Nuggets have won a division title. And now that they're in the Northwest Division with Minnesota, Portland, Seattle, and Utah, I think they're going to come out on top of this division this year.
And the Denver Nuggets historically have always been good offensive teams. Teams that put up big numbers. And in the preseason this year, they averaged over 101 points a game. Here's a foul on the Nuggets. Marcus Camby fighting it out for a position against Kwame Brown.
Things getting physical, a little testy there. But with that post-entry pass, you get the guy dead on your backside. 3 fouls on Marcus Camby, so he'll have to sit out the rest of the half. He's upset as can be. He's only got 4 points, but he doesn't look to shoot a lot at this point in his career. But when that post-entry pass is coming in, the guy dead behind you, throw it hard at the guy's face. Because then he has a chance to do something right away, as we saw earlier with Kobe and Carmelo execute.
With Camby out, Nahara back in for the Nuggets. That's a 3 attempt. And the ball knocked away from Anthony, out of bounds to Denver. It's a 2-for-1 deal here for the Nuggets if they hurry.
But a nice job by Swoosh Parker making Andre Miller walk it up, and they'll have to just play it out, giving the Lakers the last opportunity.
Andre Miller, shot clock at 10. Martin comes to get it. Now it's Anthony against Devin George, 4 to shoot. And Nahara knocked it out of bounds. Good hustle by Eduardo.
Eduardo has been everywhere. Now, JD, I know you've seen him in his years at Dallas, years at Golden State. This guy is a tremendous asset to whatever team he's on.
Phil Jackson taking a 20. He had 14 last night at San Antonio, Nahara.
Big gamble here by Phil Jackson. If you're Denver, you might want to just take a flop here, and hopefully the referees will cut you some slack.
Well, you got to figure Kobe's not going to make a drive to the basket.
He didn't come in to rebound.
As it's out of bounds to the Lakers with 1 second left in the half. Lamar Odom to make the inbounds pass.
If you're Denver, don't get back cut.
Smush missing the 3 at the buzzer.
Denver caught a break there. They were lackadaisical, not prepared for the quick inbound pass by the Lakers.
So the Denver Nuggets in their home opener, leading Phil Jackson and the Lakers by 2 at halftime. 50-48 is the score. A first half that had a number of turnovers each way and a lot of personal fouls. Kobe Bryant with 3 fouls at the half. Marcus Camby with 3 fouls for Denver at the half. Denver Nuggets know which one is Kobe Bryant. I mean, they send a posse every time he catches the ball.
And the hustle meter here, offensive rebounds, everything leaning for Denver Nuggets. Second chance points, +4. Points in the paint, +6. Fast break, +3. That's why they've got this 2-point lead, commanding as it may be.
Kenyon Martin corrals the rebound on the Bryant miss. Both teams opening the second half with the guys who started the game. Here goes Anthony. Carmelo Anthony shooting on Odom.
Obviously, he didn't listen to Jim Gray's report about the Lakers' excessive dribbling.
Kobe Bryant again surrounded by Nuggets as he got to the rim.
You've got to get the front court involved if you're Los Angeles. Lamar Odom 1 for 7 in the first half. Kwame Brown 1 for 2. Chris Mim 0 for 2. That won't get it done.
We've played a minute in the third, and Kobe Bryant putting pressure on Andre Miller. Bryant with 3 fouls in the first half. Marcus Camby of the Nuggets with 3.
And Smush Parker has been one of the premier players in this game tonight.
The Lakers remain cold,
missing their last 7 shots going back to the first half. The end of that.
That foul on Anthony is his first, but it came in the act of shooting for Chris Mim. So he goes to the free throw line. Chris Mim starting his 6th year in the NBA. And look at all the different coaches he has had. Randy Whitman, John Lucas, Keith Smart.
Paul Silas.
Silas last year.
Jim O'Brien with the Celtics. Coach Carroll, Rudy Tomjanovich, who's still working for the Lakers as a scout, Frank Hamlin, and now the master, Phil Jackson.
You know, there's two ways of looking at it. You look at that and say, when a guy has a lot of coaches,
he's getting a lot of experience.
Well, it could be possible. Maybe he's the reason. He missed on 2 free throws. We talked about it. M.E.M had that sensational game opening night last year.
But Jim, I was so lucky. I played for 6 coaches here in the Hall of Fame. Jack Ramsey was the one who made me the best player that I ever was. Your partner, Jack Ramsey. Thank you so much, Coach.
You did. You had great coaching, no question. Parker gets the bounce. Smush Parker has 12. So the Lakers have that field goal that had been eluding them for quite some time.
That drought lasted 4 minutes, 30 seconds.
Marcus Camby on the 2-hand jam on the alley-oop feed.
The Lakers have not defended the lob at all. Where are the adjustments? Where's the pressure on the ball? Where's the hand contact so you don't get back? It's not as if Marcus Camby's going to beat you from the perimeter with a jump shot.
Camby knocks it away from M.E.M. And apparently it's out of bounds to Denver.
Again, Smush Parker unable to do anything here. Chris M.E.M. just losing total contact with Marcus Camby.
They called they called a foul on M.E.M. on that play. That's 3 fouls on M.E.M.
A year ago opening night, Chris M.E.M. had a career game. Now this has been a nightmare game for this former lottery pick out of the University of Texas. Played for Rick Barnes down there. Boy, they played good basketball in the Big 12.
M.E.M. has to sit it out right now. Devin George back in. Now they're getting out to cover on Leonard, but he's still able to get one off. Martin had it knocked loose. Look at the hustle by Devin George. Here come the Lakers. They got a 3-on-2 deal. And Smush Parker rises and throws it down. Parker has 14 as the Lakers are back to within 2.
Smush Parker has become the best player in this game tonight, and that includes Kobe Bryant and Carmelo Anthony.
Andre Miller at the point for the Nuggets. Kenyon Martin with 8 to shoot. Kenyon Martin has scored 12. But neither team can put any distance between themselves and the other. 5 points, the biggest lead tonight. That by Denver in the first half. The Lakers led by as many as 4. Kobe Bryant, 9 on the shot clock. Kwame Brown. Parker. Loose ball rebound to Camby.
Marcus Camby really starting to make an impact on this game with his defense, his rebounding, his passing, willingness to get physical against Kwame Brown, Chris M.E.M, Lamar Odom.
Kobe Bryant through traffic all the way to the rim.
And Marcus Camby's not guarding anybody. He's just totally ignoring Kwame Brown, who was the nominal center for Phil Jackson's Lakers right now.
And it's Camby delivering the perimeter shot. 8 points for Camby. The Nuggets have their biggest lead at 6 with 7:50 remaining in the third. And when we come back, we're going to be visiting with Nuggets head coach George Karl.
So George Karl was suspended for 2 games. Coach Karl now joins us on the telephone from his home. Coach, how are you?
Well, I'm really nervous and uncomfortable. It's not easy watching the game. Actually, I found out in the 2 games I've watched that you see more negative things watching it on TV than you do when you're actually coaching. The game is, it's much more. You see many more things from the view of the TV or up in the stand.
What is it that you've seen that's bothering you in particular?
Well, in the first half, I thought our turnovers were very disappointing, and our defense was kind of ordinary. And I still think, we're going to have to grind this out. We're not playing at a great level, but right now. But I think my team has pride, and I think they'll figure out how to win the game.
Coach, how is your own personal health at this time?
Very good. Everything right now, after all the tests, you know, I had prostate surgery in July, and all the tests now are fairly, everything's positive. There's not one thing negative, but it's a cancer, and you gotta wait, you know, for years before you're probably getting a clean bill of health.
How will the loss of Nene affect the big picture for the Denver Nuggets this year?
Man, I'm still having trouble with it. I mean, I was really hurt last night. Nene has worked very hard, and I thought he was very anxious for this year, and I had talked to him about playing between 25 to 30 minutes a game, and I thought he was ready for that challenge. And he's really our only big body guy underneath the basket, and he was becoming a good low post presence for us. And I think now we're just going to have to do it a little different way, and unfortunately the minutes with Kenyon and Marcus go up, and both of those guys have had injury problems over the last couple of years, so I'm just hoping that we can stay healthy and keep winning some games.
Coach, are you going to have to make a move to bring in another big body?
You know, I think Kiki is really good in that area. He's really very good at knowing what's out there in the pulse of it. My gut feeling says right now that we probably are going to be patient for a while, and I don't think it's a situation where we got to panic. I think we have enough depth right now. But as the season goes on, I think we're going to have to figure out if we have to add a player, and my gut says we probably will.
Coach, Carmelo Anthony lost 20 to 25 pounds in the offseason, and we were told by Kiki Vandeweghe earlier that he has matured quite a bit this year. What is it that you have seen in Carmelo in his preparation for this season?
Well, I just think you just watch him play. He's much more defensively alert. He's much more active at the offensive end of the court. He's not having a great game tonight, but I just think he's kind of gone away from the hold game, and now he executes offense very well. And what I like about him is his face. If you look at his face, he's a very serious competitor now, as where I think last year sometimes he would kind of laugh a little bit. Didn't seem like he had the focus that he has this year. I think he's a very committed player this year, wants to lead us to the playoffs and to winning in the playoffs.
Coach, we're always dying to hear what you say in the huddle. The 6-minute timeout's coming up in 42 seconds. If you were on the bench, what would you tell your group?
I would like to see us play a little bit faster, a little bit more together. I would try to probably run more motion sets rather than stagnant sets. I think our bench is going to come in here and give us a big lift here. I think Scotty will probably substitute here in about 2 or 3 minutes. Hopefully we'll get a big lift off our bench.
Are you able to make that communication directly to Scott Brooks?
No, I cannot talk to anyone at the we had to get permission actually to talk to you guys.
I was going to say, is this legal?
No,
I withdraw from this conspiracy immediately.
Hey, George, we always knew you wanted to be with us, so here you are again.
All right, George, thanks a lot and all the best to you this year.
Okay, I hope our paths cross soon.
Hurry back, George. We miss you, and good health to you.
Thank you, Bill.
By the way, Kobe Bryant just picked up his 4th that last trip down the floor. And now a foul on Kenyon Martin. And Martin has his 3rd. So the Nuggets lead, which was 6, down to 3, and 6:19 left in the 3rd quarter.
Sean Leonard has done a working man's job on Kobe Bryant tonight.
Odom on the miss. And what you've got to think, Bill, is that with Bryant with 4 fouls, it'll probably take the drive away from him, because a couple of his fouls have been offensive.
And the way they're double teaming him and frustrating him, taking the ball out of his hands, is just going to make him much more aggressive and assertive, where he could pick up that 5th foul. And then where would the Lakers be?
Here goes Odom. And a foul. The basket is good. Lamar Odom with just his 2nd field goal. 6 points for Odom in the game, but he's got a chance to pull the Lakers even.
The drive down the lane, nobody really moving their feet enough. Carmelo Anthony not physically gifted to the same level that Lamar Odom is, to where he could make a play just by matching straight up with Lamar.
That foul on Anthony, his 2nd, 14 fouls on the Nuggets. And the rebound picked off by Camby.
But the comparisons of Lamar Odom to Scottie Pippen are really unfair to both people. Because Scottie Pippen is one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. Offensive foul, Carmelo Anthony.
That's 3 fouls on Anthony.
And if that list was shorter than 50, Scottie Pippen would still be on it.
Here's a look at that play. Carmelo Anthony. Devin George getting clipped.
It's a good play to swing those elbows through, but it's the offensive player's responsibility to swing it through low, no higher than the mid-chest area. Great pass, Kobe.
Nice feed to Smush Parker. Smush has 16 in the game, 6 here in the third. His career high is 21. He's got a chance to better that here on opening night for the Lakers. And the ball hops out of bounds. It goes to L.A.
Smush Parker underneath the basket, working that baseline. Kobe Bryant comes to the lane, finds him wide open. That's the type of play. Kobe Bryant makes that on a consistent basis, then everything will start coming together for Los Angeles.
George Karl told us during that interview that he'd like to see his team play a little quicker, start with a little more up-tempo action. Well, they go to the energy guy, Boykins here. Boykins picks off the rebound ahead to Leonard. Leonard blowing in and defended nicely by Kobe Bryant.
Smush Parker made that all happen. He forced a double clutch by Vashawn Leonard. Lakers on an 8-1 run over the last 3 minutes.
And Odom called for cupping the dribble. So the Lakers turn it over with a 1-point lead.
Never give up. You make one stab at it, Smush Parker's going to run by him. That's what you're supposed to do. Your second guy comes with the team defense to get the block off the double clutch.
Timeout comes with 4:37 left in the third. Kobe and the Lakers down 6 at one time, lead it by 1. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. Saturday on NBA TV, Philadelphia at Indiana, followed by Minnesota at the Clippers. Coverage starts at 8 o'clock Eastern. Kobe Bryant with 4 fouls on the bench right now for the Lakers. Aaron McKie is back in.
Phil Jackson managing Kobe's time and foul troubles beautifully tonight. Kobe's got 4 fouls, 2 of them offensive. He's got them back on top now. They're right in perfect position to get this road victory to open the season.
The Nuggets have missed their last 4 attempts from the field, 6 to shoot. Buckner finding Martin. Drop back shot over M.E.M. Short, taken out by Odom.
Kenyon Martin should be able to get to the hoop against Chris M.E.M.
But he's not healthy either.
But we've seen some spectacular explosiveness from Kenyon Martin tonight.
Earl Boykins called for the foul here.
And if you can do it once, why can't you do it every time? Road record last year, the Lakers, one of the worst seasons in franchise history, 12-29.
But we should also mention that the Lakers last year played the bulk of their road games late. In fact, they played 24 of their last 38 games on the road, and it was during that stretch that they went 2-19.
In one of the 4 worst finishes in the history of the NBA.
And here tonight, in this quarter, I should say, the Lakers are now 0 for 4 from the free throw line. They have gotten a big offensive lift from Smush Parker as he splits the free throws.
Smush Parker, who's known as the Grim Reaper on the blacktop courts of New York City, where he grew up before attending Florida. And what a long, strange trip it's been for Smush to make it all the way to the NBA.
The Nuggets needed a hoop, and Camby delivers with 2 hands. That pulls them even, and here's a foul called on Denver. Is it on Camby? If so, that's his 4th.
The Nuggets that time doing a very nice job in transition defense, getting back to slow down the attack of Devin George. They had the one guy run underneath Devin and then come up with the big block attempt, forcing that missed shot. But Devin George able to get back for the offensive stick-back attempt, earning a trip to the line.
As he was fouled by Greg Buckner. It's Buckner on the foul.
Easy play to call by Dick Pavetta.
So it was the first contact and not the second. And Devin George, who's given the Lakers an energy burst in his minutes on the floor tonight. 7 points as LA goes back up by 2.
The Lakers have got so little from their front court tonight. with the exception of guys like Smush Parker, Devin George, Kobe Bryant, nobody else really doing much at all for Phil Jackson.
Lamar Odom going quickly to M.E.M. Chris M.E.M. delivery. M.E.M. has his first field goal.
Fine. Why don't you do that the first play of the game?
Yeah. With that, the Lakers have equaled their largest lead.
You know what? First 5 possessions when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing, he got that ball in the low post, working for the shot every single time.
Devin George whistled for that personal foul. 3 fouls on George. 14 fouls on the Lakers.
Andrew Bynum anxiously waiting to get into the action.
Got a little taste of it in the first half. Nahara in, Martin out for the Denver Nuggets. 7 on the shot clock. Boykin sends it into Anthony. Lost his footing trying to roll out, make that move. And what's the call? And now we've got words exchanged between Anthony and Devin George.
Carmelo not having a good game. And I think the frustration and disappointment is big boil, though. Devin George is out playing him. The defense of Lamar Odom on Carmelo Anthony. They're going to have to separate these teams and straighten this out.
Carmelo Anthony with just 6 points scored in this game to this point.
The drop step here, then the jump ball. Devin George does everything right. The hand in the face by Carmelo, and then Devin George jumps right back into it, and we'll be back with the resolution of this practice.
.257 left in the third. Carmelo Anthony signaled for and was granted a timeout. So it'll be Denver ball with 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
And when the ball's on the floor, Devin George does the right thing, goes down on the floor, and then Carmelo just flails his arms out. The finger to the face, possibly to the eye region, really irritated Devin George, who immediately got up and into Carmelo Anthony's face. Shot clock a major factor here.
They come in with 2 to shoot. Camby for 3. And it's Aaron McKee to the loose ball for the Lakers, who have a chance to extend on their biggest lead of the game. Odom with 15 to shoot. George lines up a 3. Devin George has been huge for LA tonight. His second 3-point hit. And the Lakers have their biggest lead at 7.
Always a spectacular physical performance, Devin George. Wild play. Greg Buckner taking that shot that early in the shot clock.
And Devin George again with a quick look.
Imagine what George Karl is doing at home with his telephone right now.
Well, he can't be making any calls here, except to us. Anthony, yep, and a foul. Carmelo Anthony with a chance at a 3-point play.
The game is picking up.
Devin George is called for the foul. That's 4 on him.
Carmelo Anthony is intent on getting to the hoop here. No matter what defense they put on him, he was going to shoot that ball, earning a trip to the free throw line.
Talk about a long time between field goals for Carmelo Anthony.
That's his first since the 4-minute mark in the first quarter. This was a guy who had 23 and 8 last night down in San Antonio.
Aaron McKee rebounding his miss. 2 minutes left in the third. The Lakers up by 5. Vujicic back in the game for LA. And Chris M.E.M. going to work on Francisco Elson, and Buckner drops down and makes the steal. Boykin's on the run out.
Over the top pass, Greg Buckner right there. Chris M.E.M. too slow to get into the offensive attack mode there. You can't just dribble, bump. Traveling violation on Odom in the perimeter.
So the Nuggets with the ball back and 1:34 left in the third. 17 turnovers for LA.
And they're winning on the road against an elite team in the Western Conference.
That's almost like, you know, it's good news, but it's bad news where Phil Jackson is concerned, because the players are going to think, man, we can play this poorly and still be winning a game. Boykins. Cleared by Odom.
Francisco Elson, he's got to go up and dunk that ball. That was a beautiful entry pass for the guy wide open underneath the basket. Throw it down one time.
Vujicic. M.E.M on the miss. Boykins the rebound, ahead to Anthony. Finds the trailer, it's not Hurrah.
Bring it out and get set here.
Anthony. Sticking the deep jumper, it's a long two for Carmelo Anthony.
Phil Jackson sensing the momentum slipping away, and they call a timeout. This will give Kobe Bryant more rest. With the quarter break coming up in only 52 seconds.
That's 6 in a row for the Nuggets. They're back to within 1.
Recently coming over as an assistant coach. Lamar Odom working the referee, Sean Corbin. Phil Jackson getting a little testy with his own players in that last huddle, particularly Chris M.E.M. Lack of execution on the offensive end.
All
2
right.
for 1 time here if you're the Lakers. Shoot at 40 and use clearly to your advantage at the end of the quarter.
Lamar Odom at the point. Tries to dump off to M.E.M underneath. Knocked away by Denver, out of bounds to the Lakers with 12 to shoot.
Lamar Odom, the only Laker left now on that big Shaquille O'Neal trade. Not a good inbound pass.
But they somehow retain possession.
Kwame Brown, Smush Parker, heads up play.
Odom for 3. Out of bounds to the Nuggets with 29.6 left in the third.
Nice job by Sasha getting up there and making Earl Boykins take some time off the clock to get it into the front court.
Yeah, but you really got to give him some space. If you're Vujicic, Greg Boykins, you got to back up.
Traveling.
Oh, they do force him into a turnover. Lamar Odom forcing that turnover, so the Lakers have it back. They can play it for 1.
Great step out by Lamar Odom. Just totally confuses Earl Boykins. The ball got trapped on Earl's hip, and there was nothing he could do about it other than shuffle his feet and hope the referee wasn't watching.
6 seconds left. Vujicic launching a 3.
Nahara everywhere.
There's time to get one away. The shot came too late, wouldn't have counted. Well, the stage is set for a great fourth quarter because we got us a 1-point ball game working. Denver scoring the final 6 of the quarter. Kobe Bryant will be back for the final 12 minutes. You can bet on that. LA up 68-67. Welcome back to Denver. Jim Durham with Bill Walton and Jim Gray. A 1-point Los Angeles lead, and the Nuggets are in possession to open the final quarter.
Nuggets closed that quarter on a 6-0 run. Last 2 minutes, 40 seconds.
And away from the ball, we get a 3-second call. So Denver turns it over, the 18th turnover. And you see the first quarter ending 11-6 to close out. Bill talked about 6 in a row to end the third. Ron Profit in the game for the Lakers. He coughs it up. Each team with 18 turnovers now.
The backcourt for the Lakers combining 35 points.
Look at Elson go to the glass, but it's cleared by Kwame Brown. A lot of quick shots tonight.
Well, no low post presence. You got Marcus Camby with foul trouble. Kenyon Martin on the bench. We can only hope that his knee is not stiffened up here. Fortunately, Scott Brooks has got Eduardo Nahara and Greg Buckner coming off the bench.
Buckner going coast to coast. That's 8 straight for the Nuggets. Buckner with 5 points tonight. Denver taking the lead early in the fourth.
On-court leadership. This is where Kobe Bryant has got to get everybody's confidence built back up.
20 points for Kobe and the Lakers in front.
But he's only outscored Deshaun Leonard by 6. That gap is probably not big enough.
Anthony fouled by Kwame Brown as he went strong to the hoop with a pivot move. And that's 4 fouls on Brown.
Carmelo's spin moves tonight have just been dynamic as can be, but Kwame Brown coming over. Big man like Kwame should be able to send that ball back without fouling. I was impressed to see the comments by Phil Jackson in his conversation with Michael Jordan about Kwame Brown, and we'll get right back to that in a moment.
Say fans catch video highlights of every game free. Check out NBA TV broadband only at NBA.com.
Because before the Lakers made the deal to pick up Kwame Brown, Phil Jackson called Michael Jordan and asked Michael about Kwame. And Michael had very complimentary things to say about Kwame and really took the responsibility upon himself. Michael did, saying that, you know, that was probably my mistake as an impetuous young executive and player at the same time for the Washington Wizards.
Well, here's Kwame Brown against Elson. And the Lakers go back in front on that move. Brown has 5. Lakers with a steal. And it's a travel on Kwame Brown.
When you're a big man on the court, out in the open floor, and you're dribbling, just come to a stop. Come to a solid 2-footed stop. Take your triple threat position and wait for a guard to come get that ball. 5th year now for Kwame Brown, yet only 23 years of age.
And now with 10:17 left in the 4th quarter, let's go to Jim Gray.
Jim, as you and Bill were just talking about, when Bill and I were in the locker room talking to Kwame, he was unaware of Michael Jordan's comments, what he had said to Phil Jackson and to the Laker organization. He said he saw Michael this summer in Chicago at the Hoops gym, and he said that Michael was very nice. He wished him luck. He was all for him. He said it was good to see him and to be around with the guys. He said he played with Charles Oakley, and he watched that game, Michael, and he came away from that game thinking that Kwame had a good chance and he could move forward with his life. Jim?
Well, he is. He's going to have an opportunity here with the Lakers, no question about it. He'll get minutes.
Well, the dearth of big men in Los Angeles right now.
Kobe on the miss.
That's a tough shot.
And it's Kwame Brown collecting the rebound and taking a timeout with 9:36 left in the 4th. Each possession, the lead changes hands. And right now, it's the Nuggets up by 1. That's why I say, even with Phil back, the Lakers and the Lakers fans are still going to have some patience with this group.
Well, we haven't seen much from Andrew Bynum tonight, and that's been a bit of a disappointment. That's a nice jump hook executed by Kwame Brown, former #1 pick.
Kwame Brown putting the Lakers back up, and a foul on Vujicic.
But Phil Jackson, the strength of his game is teaching, is player development. Strategy, yes, but the emotional and mental aspects, and that's what makes him so special, so remarkable. Teaming with Tex Winter, who's still involved with the organization for all the years, and the great brain trust that runs the Lakers. Bill Sharman, Mitch Kupchak, Jerry Buss.
Denver looking to go back up with 10 to shoot. Martin finds Miller. And Andre Miller having problems.
He's had problems all night. He just does not look right.
Vujicic with a throw ahead to Bryant, tipped away by Buckner.
Goodness gracious sakes alive. How many times do I have to tell you never throw the outlet pass down the middle of the court?
Apparently you're going to have to say it a few more times. Kenyon Martin and Kwame Brown with the rebound.
Questionable shot selection in the last couple of possessions by both squads. Where's the organization? Where's the discipline? Who's going to be able to outthink their opponents coming down the stretch and get a victory here?
8 to shoot. And on a pass into Bryant, a foul called on the Nuggets.
Buckner, I like what Buckner has done tonight.
And that's the 2nd foul on Buckner.
And getting in Kobe Bryant's face, getting physical with him, not backing down, not giving him anything.
Marcus Camby back in the game for the Nuggets.
4 fouls on Camby.
Nahara is out. The Lakers trying to extend on a 1-point lead. A deep 2 missed by Bryant, and on the rebound, a foul on LA. Brian Cook picks up the foul.
Well, a small lineup right now for Phil Jackson. Playing with LaRon Prophet, Smush Parker, Kobe Bryant sliding really to the 3 position. You got Kwame Brown and Brian Cook, the only legitimate big men out there.
3 team fouls on the Lakers here in the fourth with 8:10 left. Denver with just 1. Boykins gets in deep. 10 on the shot clock. Miller with a lob to Canby, but threw it behind him. And also there was contact, and the foul call will be the 4th team foul on the Lakers.
A bailout call that time. The Nuggets very fortunate. Marcus Camby, who is not going to beat you by holding the ball on the perimeter. I would just let him receive on the perimeter and then put pressure. He doesn't want to drive with the hoop.
A foul, by the way, on Cook. Denver will throw in with 14 to shoot. There's been energy missing in this game. And you can see perhaps why from a Denver standpoint. This is the 2nd game of back-to-back. And they played well last night at San Antonio for much of that game.
Well, they played better last night than they played tonight.
Yes. 3 seconds on the shot clock. The jackknife attempt by Boykins not there. And the Lakers back in transition, and Cook missing.
Brian Cook ran so hard that time.
Canby to Miller.
I'm not sure if I've ever...
There you go, on the feed from Miller to Canby.
It's just remarkable that Andre Miller has done so little tonight, and they're still in this game.
They're up by 1.
He's got 2 points, and he's 0 for 3 shooting. He does have 8 assists.
Brown left open. Canby clears.
Well, back to that conversation we were having with Kwame Brown, with Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan.
Andre Miller, an assist and a hoop in consecutive trips.
And Kwame Brown did tell us before the game that he was extremely young at the time. He was working with and for Michael Jordan.
He was. He came in out of high school. And a foul here on Boykins.
Marcus Camby, keep your eye on him underneath the basket. As everybody relaxes, nobody gets any sort of body contact or just a hand. And then Andre Miller, who's just had a nightmare of a game. This guy is such a good basketball player, and it's just inexplicable how one of the top point guards in the Western Conference can come out here and just lay an egg in the home opener.
They got the 3-point advantage here. Kobe Bryant driving on Miller, gets to the rim and is fouled. Kobe shoots 2.
We've talked a lot tonight about the improved physical fitness of this young and emerging Denver Nuggets squad, with Vashawn Leonard losing 20 pounds, Carmelo Anthony losing 20 to 25 pounds. Kobe Bryant lost weight in the offseason too. The running program, the nutrition improvement, everything coming together for Kobe Bryant now, 27 years old.
And he gets to the free throw line for the first time tonight with 6:42 left. 21 points for Kobe. 7 in the second half. M.E.M returns. Cook is out for the Lakers.
Well, they've made Kobe Bryant into a passer tonight. Something that's not really been the strength of his game in years gone by. Will have to become the strength of his game if this Laker team is ever going to get back to the top.
And the 4 fouls that he picked up earlier on took the drive away.
Great full court pressure defense. I think Phil Jackson wants for 48 minutes from this young Laker squad.
6.5 left. Brown knifing in front of Martin to knock it loose. And the personal foul call on the Lakers puts them over the limit. And that's 5 fouls on Kwame Brown. Carmelo Anthony returning.
Carmelo Anthony, a horrendous shooting performance tonight. 4 for 12.
6:28 left in the half, and the Lakers have gone over the limit. Kenyon Martin 0 for 1 tonight, 1 for 2 last night from the foul line. Hits the first of 2 here.
But these are the kind of games that Denver has to win. If they're going to be considered a legitimate force in the NBA and join the ranks in the Western Conference of San Antonio, clearly at the top, Houston, Dallas playing well with a great double overtime victory last night, although going down in Utah tonight. You're playing against a Laker team that's not having a good night, and you're just going down to the wire with them in your home opener.
And this is a Denver team that finished with that strong kick last year at the end of the regular season, and then went down to San Antonio the first game of the playoffs in the first round and won that first game.
Andre Miller went down and just torched Tony Parker. Last night, though, it was Tony Parker who had his way with 27 big points on a perfect scoring performance, shooting-wise, in the fourth quarter for Tony Parker.
He hit all 7 of his field goals in that fourth quarter as M.E.M got into the lane. A reach-in foul called that will put him on the line. Chris M.E.M, 2 out of 6 from the free throw line tonight. Has a chance to pull the Lakers even. 6:06 left in the fourth. ESPN has a full night of NBA action on Friday. It starts with a Kia NBA shoot-around at 7:30. Then at 8 o'clock, LeBron James and the Cavs visit Tim Duncan and the Spurs. And at 10:30 Eastern, Kevin Garnett and the T-Wolves face Ray Allen and the Sonics. NBA Friday on ESPN.
Talking to Chris M.E.M before the game tonight at the locker room, it was interesting to hear him talk about how appreciative he is of what Phil Jackson brings to the franchise in terms of the structure and the leadership, the discipline. Chris had a career best season last year, numbers-wise, over the top again.
Yep, Miller to Camby.
No defensive adjustments whatsoever for Los Angeles.
You know, this is a close game. You could come down to the wire and have a play like that be a game winner for Denver.
What are those guys on the bench doing over there for Los Angeles?
There's a defensive 3-second call against the Nuggets, and we get a full timeout taken. 5:36 left. I think Phil is asking his players that very thing. How many times are they going to run this alley-oop jam here in the fourth quarter?
If you keep getting backdoored, how about forcing the guy to come out on the floor to catch the ball? Please, one time.
Week continuing in Denver. Phil Jackson saying before the game he's a kinder, gentler Phil. That is until the game is on the line. He looks like he's in mid-season form.
I don't know if I've ever seen in the 6 years that Phil Jackson has now coached the Lakers him ever this angry. I mean, he is in Chris M.E.M and Lamar Odom's face, and why not? Their front court has been outscored the Lakers by 20. They have given up plus 20 in the front court scoring and plus 6 on the backboards to the Denver Nuggets, a team that played last night in a late game, had to fly out here in the middle of the night. They lose a major force and factor in Nene. Their coach is not here.
Kobe Bryant making the technical on that defensive 3-second call just prior to the timeout. 23 points for Kobe. Now the Lakers with a chance to regain the lead.
How does the Neil Young song go? A kinder, gentler machine gun hand.
Devin George, Odom. 4 on the shot clock. Odom shot knocked away.
Marcus Camby, where would the Nuggets be without him tonight?
Andre Miller, who has thrown 2 perfect lob passes, and now a foul on Anthony off the ball. Offensive foul on Carmelo Anthony,
who did not even turn around. 4 fouls now on Melo. Devin George has stood in there, and the way that Greg Buckner has challenged Kobe Bryant, Devin George has done the same thing to Carmelo Anthony tonight. Tremendously admirable.
Again, the Lakers with a chance at the lead. 5 minutes left. Smush Parker. Cleared by Camby.
Maybe a bit ill-advised on that shot.
Another quick look. This one by Martin. Anthony with a follow. M.E.M corrals for the Lakers.
Carmelo's down. Lakers need to take advantage of this. Slow to get up.
Smush Parker.
Lakers have missed their last 5 shots. They missed a golden opportunity there.
Right down the well, Devin George for 3. That ends that drought. Devin George with his 3rd 3-point hit tonight. the Lakers with a 2-point lead.
Where does Denver go to get their offense? Carmelo is not in any sort of rhythm. Kenyon Martin has disappeared. Andre Miller not having a good game.
The only thing that's worked tonight as Miller hits here. Well, actually, Miller has 2 field goals in the fourth. I was going to say the only thing that's worked for them has been the lob from Miller to Camby.
And if the Lakers would make just some simple defensive adjustments, they could eliminate that in a moment's notice.
Buckner guarding Bryant. Kobe on the lean-in move. And a foul call that's on the Lakers. M.E.M picking up the foul. That's his 4th.
That's the type of play where Kobe Bryant needs to go underneath and get up in the guy's face so that he can get to the free throw line, something he doesn't do. When he steps through, it looks like a traveling violation, maybe change his pivot foot a little bit.
That foul on M.E.M. The Lakers are over the limit.
But realistically, when you're playing on the road, you're trying to win in controlled tempo, you got to get to the free throw line. You look at the great players in history.
So Kenyon Martin may have been shaken up. Camby will shoot another. That's his first attempt in the game. He's a 66% shooter for his career from the line.
Kobe Bryant here in the fourth quarter, 1 for 4 from the field.
Denver back up by a point.
And Kobe has only taken 2 free throw attempts all night, making both.
Odom missing, and Camby the rebound. Marcus Camby has been large in this fourth quarter. Carmelo Anthony. Yep, a big hit for Anthony. Anthony has 14, and Scott Brooks' club is up by 3.
The shots that Carmelo Anthony has made from the right side of the floor have all been curved balls. Stoppage of play here. Foul call whistled by referee Bill Kennedy.
They call it on Buckner. 3 fouls on Buckner. Here's a look at Anthony's shot.
But the release on Carmelo's hands got Brooks ecstatic. The Hall of Famer from the University of California, Irvine, the Anteaters, one of 6 Anteaters to ever play in the NBA.
And Kobe Bryant is a perfect 4 for 4 tonight. 24 points for him. And of course, he was remembering well that big win they posted in Pauley Pavilion that we were talking about before the break.
20 years ago, the Anteaters went into Pauley Pavilion and spanked the UCLA Bruins.
25 for Kobe Bryant. LA back to within 1.
Who would have ever thought?
Andre Miller. Anthony draws a crowd, 10 to shoot. Miller, a straight on 3. Martin the rebound. Here goes Miller. Back out to Camby. And why not?
That's Camby's game at this point in his career. Stand in the perimeter. Lakers having trouble even getting the ball in bounds. Devin George working the referees. Bill Kennedy saying, hey, the Denver Nuggets keep poking that ball away. How can we even get it in bounds?
Marcus Camby with 17 points, 7 in the fourth quarter, as the Nuggets are clinging to a 3-point lead. You know, they're only a stop and score away from winning this game.
An eternity of time at the cover.
Oh, yeah. 5 to shoot, and it's an offensive foul on Odom.
And Camby exhorting the crowd.
Well, there's their stop with 2:22 left.
Tremendous position. 7th offensive foul on the Lakers alone tonight. One of the cornerstones of the pyramid of success, enthusiasm. Marcus Camby has shown us a ton of that tonight. Lakers up against it right now.
2:22 left and Denver in possession.
The crowd has had to work tonight to get into the flow of this game.
That's right.
And they were pumped at the start. Although there's really been a definite pall over the city of Denver with what happened with Guerrero last night and the awful news about his knee injury, season ending, apparently.
because last night what they were saying was, well, he's out for tonight's game, but they would, they'd have to examine it further, and then the examination took place today, and that's when the announcement came.
Marcus Camby again keeping it alive. Chris M.E.M had that ball, had the rebound, but he was too far underneath the basket. And Camby just came and just pushed that ball out of Camby's hands. Phil Jackson saying, hey, the laws of physics, and this is the 101st anniversary of Albert Einstein's law of relativity. It's got to be.
Oh, a big basket by Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has 16. Denver has scored 9 of the last 11, and now they lead it by 5 with 1:42 left.
Greg Buckner has the unenviable position, trying to slow down Kobe Bryant.
And it's Camby with the rebound. The Nuggets now can milk some clock. 1:30 left, 14 to shoot.
After we saw what happened with Dallas and Phoenix last night, anything is possible, JB.
That's Devin George knocking that pass out of bounds with 8 on the shot clock. They have it in play to Martin. Andre Miller. Devin George the rebound and a foul on Anthony. I have him with 5.
The worst possible scenario that time for the Denver Nuggets. They miss a shot. Carmelo Anthony picks up a foul. Lakers get to go to the free throw line here. I like the fact that Devin George and Carmelo Anthony, who were involved in a little altercation earlier this half, have now, even though they've been playing head-to-head in all-out fierce battle and competitive greatness, every time the ball is whistled dead, both of them just turn and walk away.
Devin George has made both free throw attempts tonight. He's a 73% shooter from the line in his career. 1:13 left. George with a 13-point game working, as you see, and 4 for 7 from the field.
A remarkably low-scoring game tonight for two teams that desperately want to push the ball, both of them. Timeout now for the Denver Nuggets.
As the Lakers are back to within 4 with 1:13 left in regulation. 89-85 Denver. Here's a look at that shot by Carmelo Anthony, and this was huge.
You got a guy like Kobe Bryant on the other team.
They're going to take a little time off. That's one thing. Andre Miller guarded by Parker. 1 minute remaining. Anthony wheels out of the double team. And the Lakers the ball with 52 seconds left. Here's Kobe Bryant against Buckner. Under to M.E.M. Contact, no call. 9 to shoot. A straight-on 3 by Parker. His third three-pointer tonight. And we've got a 1-point game with 35 seconds left, and they turned it over before the timeout was called. Buckner coming across the timeline.
So confused. This absolute indecision, doubt, hesitation. Quinn Buckner, no, that's an easy play to call. Greg Buckner, excuse me.
So now the Lakers with 32.6 can take the lead. Kobe with it. Buckner on him. Kobe to M.E.M. Shots blocked by Camby.
But M.E.M. will go to the free throw line.
There's a foul called. You're right. And M.E.M. hasn't done well at the free throw line tonight. Marcus Camby called for the foul. That's 4 on him. M.E.M. is 4 of 8. That's 5 on Camby, excuse me.
2 straight times they run that high screen and roll, and Kobe gives it up both times. Can Chris M.E.M. convert?
Now the best he can do is tie.
Shot clock.
Guess what? Yeah, Denver doesn't have to shoot the ball.
It's clearly in favor of the Denver Nuggets.
Should he miss and the Nuggets get possession? The Lakers as a team 16 of 25 from the foul line. M.E.M ties it up.
And now Scott Brooks takes a timeout before they even get the ball in bounds.
The timeout taken with 20.4 left, and Smush Parker sticks a cold-blooded 3 to bring the Lakers within 1. The Nuggets do not have any timeouts. The Lakers have 2. Anthony looking to bring it in. He finally comes to Miller. You know, you really don't have to be in a rush here, because if you don't get it down, you go to overtime. And the long rebound comes off to Devin George with 9.3. The Lakers take time.
Why did he shoot so early? What is he thinking? Is he thinking at all?
You're in a tie game at home.
At worst, you want to shoot with 4 seconds to go so you can get a chance at a stick back. Carmelo.
Well, at worst, take it all the way down to nothing and don't even get one off. Then you got an overtime. But now the Lakers have a chance to win in regulation.
Devin George and Smush Parker, the unsung heroes for the Lakers tonight. Smush Parker 1 point away from his career high. Chris M.E.M here, you know that Marcus Camby is not going to step out to deny Kobe.
Well, the Lakers have it in play. 6 seconds, Kobe Bryant.
This is going up.
Bryant with 2 seconds. Bryant fakes, now hangs the jumper up, and we go to overtime.
And what could be better? More NBA basketball. Kobe Bryant again in a situation where he had Buckner up in the air. And if he just goes in a little bit, as opposed to trying to avoid that contact, he gets to the free throw line, you know Kobe will make at least 1 to win the game.
Kobe was saying that he got hit in the face, and perhaps he did by Buckner on that shot attempt.
I couldn't see it from that angle
at
all.
But 89-89 after regulation.
But it's always good to act like that when you miss the shot.
It was early on in the sequence. Where Buckner reaches in. Yeah.
Didn't seem to make any sort of reaction at all until after the shot missed.
Well, we'll be back with a 5-minute overtime after these messages. Led by as many as 7. The Nuggets have led by as many as 6. Kwame Brown has 5 fouls for LA. He's not in there right now. Camby, 5 fouls for Denver. Carmelo Anthony also with 5.
Denver really has no place to go other than Marcus Camby up front with some size.
12 on the shot clock for Buckner.
Trying to get Kenyon Martin involved here, and Buckner is completely lost with the ball in an offensive situation. Wild foray there.
But Buckner saves it with the rebound, and Andre Miller now directing traffic for the Nuggets. It's a loud pass intended for Anthony, and it hit off the rim and goes out of bounds to the Lakers. There's the foul trouble we were talking about as we begin play in the overtime.
Kwame Brown, Marcus Camby, Carmelo Anthony all with 5. Kenyon Martin with 4. And Devin George. Devin George has been spectacular tonight off the bench.
The Lakers looking for the lead with 4:10 left in the overtime. Odom. And on the rebound, it's cleared by Camby.
Now that's much more Lamar Odom's game than him trying to be a set-up, disciplined, classic type player that Scottie Pippen was, who he's so often compared to.
Marcus Camby with 14 rebounds tonight. Miller attacking the rim and drawing the foul to get to the free throw line.
More importantly, he attacked the defender. He knew he was in there among the trees. He had no chance of getting a shot out, so he just threw his body right in to the Laker defenders and earns this trip to the free throw line.
Foul by M.E.M. 5 fouls on M.E.M. Miller is an 82% free throw shooter in his career. 2 for 2 tonight. He puts the Nuggets in front.
Andre looks stiff. Looks sluggish.
Good point.
Looks like his back is bothering him. But just the way he's standing, it looks like something is wrong physically.
Kobe Bryant controlling for the Lakers. Odom finding Smush Parker.
Kobe Bryant, Buckner really getting into it away from the ball.
M.E.M. on the miss, and it's Andre Miller to the loose ball.
Bring it out. Lakers great transition defense.
Miller picked up by Devin George. Anthony guarded by Odom. Melo wheels away from the double team, and it's an offensive foul on Anthony. He has picked up his 6th.
So a disastrous turn of offense for Scott Brooks, the Denver Nuggets, and Carmelo Anthony, who was just intent on shooting this ball. Why turn your back to a bigger player? You had him faced up. I don't know. He's got both hands on the ball.
I'm with you. I'm not sure about that one. So the Lakers with a chance to regain the lead. Deshaun Leonard back in for the Nuggets. He's been sitting for a while. Smush Parker had it tipped away by Miller with 10 to shoot. The Lakers to throw in.
Well, Scott Brooks really up against it right now. You lose your key player to foul trouble. You don't have M.E.M. Greg Buckner, not an offensive player, but you have to have him out there because
you got to defend Kobe, yeah. Now Kobe fires, and the Lakers take the lead. 27 for Kobe.
Where does Denver go offensively? You would think Kenyon Martin down in the low block against Lamar Odom. Or maybe Andre Miller just having to try to create something all by himself.
Screen roll with Martin. Miller dumps it into Camby for another jam. That's 19 for Marcus Camby.
Phil Jackson, irate as can be, summoning Kwame Brown. Get in there. Tired of seeing all these dunks go down.
2:15 left in the overtime. Bryant again. Kobe shooting from out front. Kobe bags 2 in a row, and the Lakers are back in front.
Kobe getting into it with referee Dick Bavetta, who just totally ignored him.
29 points for Bryant.
But they're bumping Kobe every single time. Doing a nice physical job against a beautiful pass to Sean Leonard.
With 8 to shoot, Miller has it back. Miller gets turned away at the rim, and the Lakers end up with a loose ball.
The crowd is stunned here. They were salivating, thinking the Lakers were going to come in here tonight and just not get it done.
Bryant and Greg Buckner really going at it off the ball. Odom drives through a crowd, and a foul will put Lamar Odom on the line with 1:24 left in the overtime.
Boy, this crowd is really getting unruly here. Kobe Bryant coming off that high screen. Everybody's slapping at Kobe. No contact. The jumper, nothing but net. Very next time comes right by. Buckner, very difficult to guard Kobe Bryant in that isolated situation. And again, this is Lamar Odom's game. The freelance, the creativity, the remarkable physical gifts. I mean, this guy is a full 6'10", has not had a good shooting game tonight.
That foul that put him on the line is on Kenyon Martin. That's 5 on him. Odom gets another. Boykins returns for Denver. Buckner goes out. We're at that time of the game now where Scott Brooks is probably going to have to substitute offense and defense each possession.
But he doesn't have a lot of options right now. We haven't seen much of Nahara, who was a major force, but difficult to play Nahara and Buckner at the same time when you need points.
1:20 left. And the Nuggets need points. Down 3. Boykins.
And how difficult is this for George Karl sitting at home? Nothing he can do.
Pick up the phone and call us. Miller hangs the shot up and draws the foul. Andre Miller to the line. He's a good free throw shooter. That foul is on Parker. 3 fouls on Smush Parker. Buckner at the scorer's table, ready to re-enter the game for Boykins.
Lakers have shown solid poise and competitive greatness here tonight. You combine that with the confidence that a great coach like Phil Jackson can breathe into this young squad with an average age of just 25 years.
You know, Jim Gray made that great point late in regulation when he talked about how Phil didn't take the timeout when his team got possession with 32 seconds left. He just let him come down the floor and run a play. And what makes that good is that, yeah, this is a different team. It's got young players, but yet that's Phil saying, look, this is how we play.
And also showing, I believe in you guys. You can get this done. And when the coach believes in you, that just means a world of difference.
Bryant turns it over. Marcus Camby going coast to coast, and it blocked by Bryant. Miller follows it in. And the Nuggets have taken the lead with 48 seconds left.
Incredible, remarkable defensive play by Kobe Bryant and the rest of the Lakers in transition defense.
But still the Nuggets score. And a blocking foul called here as Kobe Bryant was trying to maneuver. Marcus Camby called for the foul.
And that's got to be it for him.
That's it for Camby.
Kobe Bryant against the double team, poked away by Camby, who's out in transition. He thinks he's got it done, but Smush Parker forces the double clutch. Camby was gonna dunk. Kobe blocks it. Everybody else had stopped on the play except for Andre Miller, who gets to stick back. This is a tough call against Marcus Camby.
Since that's his 6th.
That left elbow by Kobe Bryant, that initiated the contact. Camby was, from this angle, moving backwards.
So Camby goes out.
So now you've lost Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
You've lost Marcus Camby. Nene not here.
Kobe Bryant has not missed from the foul line, as you see tonight. And he's played a long time since he picked up his 4th foul. He's played 18 minutes since then. His free throw pulls the Lakers even, and he can put LA up.
The overtime summary, the Lakers 2 for 4. Denver matches that. Kobe's got 5 points, and Carmelo Anthony and Marcus Camby both fouling out in the extra period.
Los Angeles by 1, and a timeout taken by the Denver Nuggets with 37 seconds left in the overtime. Don't go away. We'll be here when you come back.
2 players for Denver. Excuse me. Buckner's on the bench now. Just one, Nahara, who doesn't really want to shoot. Nice step out by Kwame Brown.
Boykins now trying to operate on Parker. Here's Kenyon Martin against Odom. And a foul on Odom will put Martin on the free throw line.
Phil Jackson cannot believe this call.
4 fouls tonight on Odom. Here's a look at it.
From this angle, it looked like Kenyon Martin just lost the ball. Lamar Odom standing there, arms outstretched. Phil Jackson.
Kenyon Martin is a 66% free throw shooter for his career. He is 1 for 3 tonight and 1 for 3 last night.
But when your leg is bothering you, Jim, it affects your whole shot. Because every time you go to let it go, you just think, okay, there's going to be a hit, there's going to be a click, there's going to be a shot of pain searing through your body and your nervous system. It just totally disrupts your concentration.
So Martin now shooting for the tie. He gets the roll off that front rim. 14 points for Martin. 22.1 left of the overtime. And the Lakers and Nuggets are tied at 97.
Difficult for the Denver Nuggets to double team them the way they were through the vast majority of the early goings of this game. And that was still today, wasn't it?
Well, it depends on which time zone you're in. .1.
I like this.
Yeah, I do
taking
too.
the ball in the backcourt. You have the whole court to throw it in.
Because, as you say, you're going to want to take it all the way down. Odom comes across.
Get the ball to a ball handler.
Kwame Brown with 12 seconds left. Brown against Nahara. Oh, man. And he recovers with 6 seconds remaining.
Get it to Kobe Bryant.
He's got it now. Kobe for the win hits it with .6. And the Lakers have a 2-point lead.
Lamar Odom with the biggest grin on his face that he's had in a long time.
Kobe Bryant with a huge hit.
Well, remarkably, they went to Kwame Brown so early. Kwame, not the best hands in the world. He bobbled it initially. Fortunately, the ball came right back to him. Nahara gamely trying to get it. It's just now Kobe clearly inside the line. There was some argument off camera whether this was a three-point shot, but this is Kobe Bryant at his best.
That's 33 points for Kobe Bryant in the game. 8 have come in the overtime. But Denver still has 0.6 of a second to retaliate at the end of this overtime period. Toward the hash mark area to make the inbounds pass.
Andre Miller.
0.6 left, remember. Here we go. He's got Leonard, the 3 in the air. And the Lakers get out of town with a 2-point overtime win.